enlightened, redeemed. Looking up from the ground. Welcome to our channel that compares themes of the Gospel and Franciscan sources. Today we delve into the theme of readiness to serve God and others. In the experience of the founders of Franciscanism, after their encounter with the Lord, the decisive friendship with Jesus allowed Francis and Clare to abandon their habitual lifestyle and build a prophetic existence. Together with a vast myriad of disciples, their teaching has raised the gaze of multitudes previously devoted to mediocre conformism, and who still had their eyes planted on the ground. For a more complete overview of our human, cultural and spiritual proposal, we suggest you visit the website duevi.art. duevi.art. Mark 10:46-52. Francis, the little one of Assisi, following in the footsteps of Christ, placed the health of man, both physical and interior, at the center. For him, the brother or sister he needed to care for came before any other criteria. Announcing salvation and implementing it was for him the first reason that governs the universe, and for this he was ready to do anything. In the sources we find life stories that highlight Francis' compassion for those waiting to be healed, but the saint, as mentioned above, was struck by the hardness of heart shown by some Romans, faced with the preaching of the word. In the testimonies following the death of Francis we read, "But the Roman people covered him with contempt, so much so that he not only refused to listen to him, but also deserted his sermons. And for many days he continued to mock his preaching. Then Francis rebuked them for the hardness of their hearts, saying, I am deeply sorry for your misery, because not only do you cover me, the servant of the Lord, with contempt, but in me you shame that Redeemer whose good news I announce to you. I will go and proclaim Christ to the beasts and the birds of the air. They will listen to these words of salvation and obey God with all their hearts." Sources 2288. Francis of Assisi was always very sensitive to the theme of faith that gives light to interior blindness. He himself suffered greatly from his eye disease, and it is not for nothing that the Canticle of the Creatures is a masterpiece of that time of suffering. Often, rising from prayer, his eyes seemed full of blood, they were so red from crying. Sources 1413. He always had a great predilection towards those who, blind, he longed to see again. There are episodes in the sources that tell this reality. A woman, inhabitant of Narni, struck by blindness, regained the gift of sight through the sign of the cross that blessed Francis traced on her eyes. Sources 438. Furthermore, the son of a nobleman, born blind, received, through the merits of Saint Francis, the much-desired sight and, in memory of the event, received the name of Illuminato. Grateful for the benefit received, at the appropriate age, he entered the order of minors, and made great progress in the light of grace and virtue, showing himself to be a son of the true light. Sources 1304. The poor man of Assisi, following in the footsteps of Christ, healed many who believed or had greater faith in God because they were healed in their hearts. In the sources we read, in the convent of the Friars Minor in Naples there was a friar named Robert who had been blind for many years. At one point, a fleshy growth formed above his eyes, preventing him from moving and lifting his eyelids. One day many foreign friars, headed to different parts of the world, gathered in that convent. Well, our blessed Father Francis, mirror of holy obedience, almost to encourage them on their journey with the novelty of a miracle, wanted to heal that friar, in their presence, in the following way. This brother Robert was mortally ill, so much so that his soul had already been recommended to him. When behold, the blessed Father presented himself to him, in the company of 3 friars, models of all sanctity, Saint Anthony, Brother Augustine and Brother James of Assisi, who now, after his death, accompanied him attentively, just as they had followed him perfectly during his life. Taking a knife, Saint Francis cut away his superfluous flesh, restoring his sight and snatching him from the jaws of death. Then he said to him, O son Robert, the grace that I have granted you is a sign for the friars who leave for distant people. It is the sign that I will precede them and guide them on their path. Let them depart with joy and fulfill with a ready spirit the obedience they have received. Sources 1299. The canticle written by Saint Francis, Canticle of Brother Sun, is a hymn to life and light at the moment when he had lost his sight and was healed in his heart. Francis, after his conversion, began to see again and became a light for all, a beacon in the mists of time. Christ restored sight through him. And Jesus said to him, "Go your way, your faith has made you well." Mark 10:46-52. Thank you all for your kind attention. We invite you to subscribe to the channel, to stay updated on our activities. If you liked it, leave a well done to support us. Subscribe, give your precious like, comment and share with your friends. Thanks, see you soon.